When you're using images in your course, it's going to be for one of two reasons. One is because it's really important to what the students are learning, and the other one is just to add some color and to make it just look nicer. And knowing the difference between these two makes all the difference to a student using a screen reader. So we want to make sure that we know exactly how the image is being used before we decide how to make it accessible. So I've got our urban gardening introduction lesson here. I'm going to click edit and show you what the images are in this. Let me just scroll down a little bit. I'm going to give myself some more real estate, clicking, holding, and dragging on that array of dots. Before I scroll down, I do have this introduction image right here at the beginning, and then scrolling down, I've got another image here in the middle, and then I've got an image down here at the end. Let's take a look at that first image. Now the first image, it is a really nice way to introduce urban gardening, but as the instructor, I would also say that this adds some great context. This is an example of vertical gardening in an urban space. So I want to add some alt text here. You'll also notice as we go through this, I want you to keep your eye on our accessibility checker down here. Right now it's identified 3 issues. If I click on that, it says that the 3 issues are image, next, image, next, image. Okay, let's go to the previous one. So you can change the alt text right here, but I want to show you the other way to do it as well. So the other way to do that is to click on the image. So I'm going to show you this for existing images, and then we'll upload an image also. So for an existing image, you're going to click on it, and then this image options little pop-up shows up. I'm going to click that, and then I've got the alt text over here on the left-hand side. Right now it's the file name, and reading the file name is not going to help a student at all. Now what you don't need to do is to say image of, or photo of, or picture of. The screen reader will handle that. But we want to make sure that students can both see and hear this information so that they can use at least one of their senses to get it. So I want to say an example of vertical gardening in an urban space. And then once I've got that, I just need to scroll down and click done. Take a look at my accessibility checker. It is now down to 2. Continuing to scroll down, this photo here, right up above my title there that says setting up your growing space. Now, while I could consider this one to be decorative, I'm actually using it as another great example of urban gardening. So I'm going to add alt text for this one, but this time let's use our accessibility checker. So I'm going to click my accessibility checker. Remember, there are 2 issues left. So clicking that, it says issue 1 of 2, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's put a box around that image. So I know it's talking about this image. Right now the alt text is image.png, which tells me nothing. So I'm going to say this is an example of someone in their urban garden space on a rooftop. Okay, so I'm going to hit apply. And then it takes me to the last one. So while we're here, let's go ahead and do the last one as well. So this last one, again, it's putting that box around this final image. This has 0 context whatsoever. I could certainly identify it and say that it is a seedling coming up out of the ground, but that doesn't give my students any information at all. So instead, I'm going to mark this one as decorative. Now I can mark it here. I'm going to unmark it actually, and then click X, and I'm going to show you how to mark it from the image itself. So if I click the image and then image options, I also have that decorative image option. Okay, let's scroll down since I did it this way. Oops, let's scroll down here and then click done. But I've got one more really important image to show you, and that's a diagram. Things like diagrams, graphs, infographics are really, really difficult to assign alt text to. One of the things I haven't talked about are the limitations of alt text in Canvas. In Canvas, you can only use 120 characters. Okay, keep that in mind. I am going to add another image, and it's underneath environmental impacts here. So I'm going to hit enter, and let's go ahead and insert this image that I've got on my computer. So I'm going to go insert and then image, upload image, click the rocket ship. I want this environmental impacts infographic, and then click open. Before I hit submit, I'm going to scroll down and it's asking me to describe the image. Now I could go ahead and describe this image, but it's really difficult to do. So you could take your 120 characters and describe the image here. Or I'm going to show you a workaround here. So I'm going to actually just leave this for now. I'm going to click submit. I do want to make that a little bit smaller. So let me click it, grab those corners, click, hold, and drag it so it's a little bit smaller. And I'm going to center that as well. So I'm going to click my three dots, grab my alignment tool and center it. Okay, I'm going to have ChatGPT come up with a description for me using those 120 characters. Now I've got this downloaded onto my computer, so I can go right over to ChatGPT. I'm going to click the plus sign. I'm going to add a photo. Now you can do this with the free version. Just know that with the free version, it's going to limit how many things you can upload, like in a 24-hour period or something. I'm going to choose my image and then click open and let me give it a prompt. I need descriptive alt text for this image under 120 characters. And then I'm going to click the arrow. And it pretty quickly comes up with a decent alt text. But limiting it to 120 characters doesn't really tell the full story. So I've got two different options here. I'm going to go ahead and choose the second option. I'm going to just highlight that, do a Control-C to copy. Back over here to my image, I'm going to click on it so I get that image options. And then I definitely don't want that file name. I'm going to get rid of that and then do a Control-V. I'm not going to mark this one as decorative and then click done. So if I scroll down, I can make sure that it passes, and it does. I'm not getting that accessibility issue. But take a look at this graphic. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see that there's really so much more going on than what we were given in our alt text. So in this case, it's going to be really helpful for someone using a screen reader, but also for somebody who isn't using a screen reader, to have a few sentences that describe what's in that infographic. So we're going to do this one more time. I'm not going to re-upload it. So I'm just going to say for the previous image, can you give me a few sentence paragraph that fully describes what the infographic tells us about the environmental impact. Okay, so clicking go for that one. I get a much more comprehensive explanation. This is certainly more than 120 characters, so we are not going to squeeze this into alt text. I'm going to go ahead and copy this though, so Control copy, and I can still get a great explanation here. Let me click to the right of this and then hit enter. I'm going to do a Control-V to paste that. So this description is certainly helpful for a student with a screen reader, but also helpful for a student who's struggling to understand what the infographic is telling us. Now, something else that you can do, and it's completely up to you, if you think you've got enough description here, you can also go back to your image. You could mark this one either as decorative, or you can shorten this information here. I want you to be thinking about that student who's using a screen reader. It's really challenging to consume information that way, especially when information is repeated to you like this. So be thinking about how you can make things simpler. I am going to go ahead and mark this one as decorative, and then I'm going to scroll down and hit done. Now there's so much to learn when it comes to accessibility, but I've got you covered. I have a micro course that you can sign up for, but I've also got lots of videos for you, including this one.